Today we will be doing a almost part 2 to a video I did a couple videos ago. I did the most overrated ride video, which a lot of you guys disagreed, but hopefully we can agree a lot more on this video, the top 10 most underrated coasters. There are a lot of coasters out there that don't get enough recognition in my eyes, and even though I've been on a limited amount of coasters, there's still a solid top 10 of underrated rides. But let's dive straight in. Number 10 on this list is Thunder Mountain. A little bit of a curveball, but this ride is a classic at Disney World, and it was kind of my first big kid coaster, if you will. And personally, it's my favorite coaster at Disney World, and is such a good introduction coaster to a younger audience. It's an incredibly beautiful ride with a whole scenery around it being so eye-catching and amazing out there on its own little island. On like the whole mountain scenery, it just looks beautiful. Then the ride itself being nothing crazy, having some fun hills and decent turns that everybody can enjoy. Also, the ride is incredibly long, being multiple minutes because of the 3 different lift hills that it has. Cap it off with some amazing theming in the queue line and on ride. It creates a great kids ride. Next up is Flight of Fear. Now, I have only been on the one at Kings Island, but I can say that this one is a legitimately good ride. I think that a lot of people in the coaster community give this ride a hard time, even though it is loved by the general public, which is the only reason why it can't go any higher. Now, I can say that for the land that it takes up is a great use of that space because it's a high-thrill multi-looper with a launch on only 1 acre of land. Also, the whole ride are taking fast-paced turns with no directional knowledge at all, since it's completely in the dark. Add some great theming in the very nice Area 72 area of the park to create a solid ride. 8th place goes to Gemini. This ride might be very old and be an arrow, but it's still a great ride to this day, and that's just something because it's at Cedar Point, and there's so many great rides over there. Personally, I like this more than Magnum, and that's because this ride is surprisingly smooth. The track does still have its bumpy spots, being that it's a 50-year-old coaster, but it's about as good as you can get for a ride of that age. Then throw in some very solid floater hills, which are still some of my favorite airtime moments at Cedar Point to this day. And we can't forget the dueling trains, which really brings this ride alive and gives it a good personality. But high fives are always fun, and this is my favorite arrow right now. One ride that was very high in previous years, but it's gotten a little bit more recognition, and that is the Bat. The Bat over the past couple of years has gotten a lot more recognition in the coaster community, and I love that. But the reason why it's still on this list is because the general public still act like they don't know this thing exists. It's a short, compact, but jam-packed ride, and the only knock on this ride is its length. But the suspended trains are amazing, and I really wish they made more of them because the swinging back and forth factor is really fun, and there aren't many rides like it out there. All that with some snappy turns that progressively get better as you travel through the woods is an awesome and very, very solid ride at Kings Island. Back-to-back B&M coasters make up the 6th and 5th spot, but the number 5 is Pipeline. The first couple of weeks after it opened, it got a little bit of buzz, saying that it was surprisingly good, but since then, the talk has stopped completely, and I think that's just so undeserved. The mix of airtime and intense moments are really amazing, and all of it being on a stand-up coaster, which might sound like a bad idea, but it's great and a one-of-a-kind experience that's elite. Then wrap it all up with an amazing launch at the start, creating an amazing overall coaster, and I really want to see this model more in the future, and I would not be opposed to one of these going to Kings Island. Spot 5 is another B&M, being Valravn. People overall don't really like B&M dives, but for me, they are some great rides that, even though aren't very long and that type of stuff, pack a punch. A lot of people don't like B&M dives because the whole point is the drop and nothing else, which I don't understand since the drops are amazing, and even the layouts afterwards, not even on Valravn, are getting a lot better. For Valravn, it has a dive loop, which is solid, having some good hang time, followed by a 0G roll with some more great hang time. Then you have another solid airtime hill with some solid airtime for a dive coaster. I just think that the drops are amazing, and the layout after are pretty solid for B&M dive standards, and they're only getting better and better. Up next is the Racer. This ride is so simple, but super fun, even though it isn't crazy. But it wasn't always like that, because a couple of years ago, this ride was terrible. It was super rough, unbearable, and just a terrible ride, but the Gravity Group did wonders on this thing, smoothing out both sides of the track, and Kings Island has been keeping good care of it since. The entire ride is some of the smoothest wooden track in the world, plus the hills in the first half have some good floater airtime to it. Super underrated ride overall, and a bit of a hot take for me that it's debatably top 5 at Kings Island, and I would take it over the Beast on some days. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket takes the 3rd place spot. This ride has sadly given its last rides, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was a super good ride. The main reason why people don't like it is because of the 1,000 different mid-courses and how rough it was. Both of these were no problem for me though. It was pretty smooth from what I remember, and the mid-courses did not hit at all for me. So instead of taking away speed, they all had good airtime off them, and the turns were way more intense than I thought they would be, which is obviously a good thing. All of that with the super unique music feature, being able to pick your own song to listen to, made a great ride which will be missed. The 2nd place ride is Gatekeeper. This is one of those rides that gets an insane amount of hate, and people legitimately don't like this thing. Which of those people just stop focusing on the forces so much and live in the moment and have some fun. Because yeah, the forces aren't that good, but the fun factor is amazing, and this thing is not meant to be a force field of amazing forces. It's a smooth wing coaster with some amazing near-miss elements that get me every time. Elements like the 0G roller, just pure fun, and elements in the second half and the first drop provide some of the best hang time that you can find in the park. Plus, the vests aren't that bad, so just stop complaining to complain. Just have some fun and stop being hypercritical. Most underrated ride that I've been on is Orion. The reason why it's number 1 is that for some reason I only see hate from people. Everybody complains that it isn't a bigger, faster, and better Fury, plus others say that it's the worst Giga, which is far from the truth. It may not be as big as other Gigas, but it's still a Giga. It's huge, 300 feet. Also, I love the unorthodox elements that this thing has. The wave turn, even though it has no airtime, is unique. The speed hill and normal hill have great positive airtime, and the final helix is intense, and that ending drop is amazing as well, giving some off-balance airtime. Just stop hating on it and appreciate the uniqueness and how great it fits into this park. Thanks for watching. Comment what your most underrated ride is, vote on my community tab, and other than that, have a good day.